Hi there, and welcome to Teacher's Perspective. Today I'm going to be asking a potentially controversial question, and that is this: are tests important? When I say tests, I mean the various different types of assessments that children do whilst they're in school. So what I'm going to talk about in this video is just the different types of assessment, how they're used, and really where teachers get a true sense of the level that different children are working at. So first of all, I must mention that there are lots of different types of tests that go on. For example, a lot of schools do pre and post assessments in maths, in science, and in other topic lessons, where the same assessment is carried out at the start and the end of a topic. Take fractions, for example. At the start of the topic, children will answer a set of questions about fractions before they have been taught the content. Now, this might seem a little bit of a waste of time in some sense, as you're you're assessing children on something that they have not yet been taught. However, the purpose of it is to see exactly where the children are working at, what they do already know, so that the teacher can find out what the children are capable of and what they still need to learn. Because a teacher might find at the beginning of a topic that a lot of the children have maintained knowledge from times that they've learned about this topic in the past, and therefore the first few lessons can just be a little bit of a recap. They don't need to go into some explicit teaching of various elements. At the end of this topic, the same test will be carried out, and it's a great way for teachers to see the comparison from the start of the topic compared to the end, to see what progress has been made. And this is really, really good to see which children, have participated in the lessons and really got some good progress out of the lessons that have taken place. So pre and post assessments, that's one type of assessment. We then also have the standardized assessment, the standardized tests, or the summative assessments. And these are where we look at exactly what the children know on a broader scale. So within the maths curriculum, it will be about everything they've been taught that term or even for that year. It will be the same again when they're doing a science summative assessment, or if they are doing an assessment like this across any kind of subject. Specifically, you have these in reading and in grammar. But if we again take maths as the example, it gives a broad view of where the children are working at, what they've retained in each of the different topics that they've learned about. Now, these tests are particularly useful because when they are standardized, that means that they have been carried out by other children in different schools, and an average score can be made. So what then happens is you can have a look at your children and see how they maybe compare to the national average, or how they compare with the average of schools in your area. And it just really helps the teacher moderate their judgments of their children, because sometimes you might have some children working at a lower level in your class and some children working at a higher level, but actually if they were to be in a different setting, maybe those higher ability children would be in the middle of a class somewhere else within the country. So getting a broad view of what they understand and where they fit for the average of that year group or that sort of cohort of children is really, really useful. Now, aside from that, teachers do also use something called AFL, which is known as Assessment for Learning. And this is an ongoing assessment that happens within the classroom, where teachers will continuously look and monitor different children in the class to see how they're getting on, how they're working. They might have little strategies of thumbs up, thumbs down, 1, 2, 3, 4 of sort of confidence levels within a subject. Also, just looking over the child's shoulder and seeing what work they're doing within that book, you can quickly get a good grasp of how much of the content of that lesson they really understand. So with all that in mind, are tests actually important? Yes and no, because it really depends how the teacher chooses to use that information. Understandably, parents do focus on tests a lot, and they look at the scores of tests and they feel as though that is the defining factor of the level that their child is working at. In some ways, it is, especially as they go further through school. The grades are kind of all that end up mattering. Now, the debate on how useful that is to education is for another time. But in terms of lower school, primary school, up to about year 6, up to 10, 11 years of age, the assessments are really for the teacher. They help the teacher understand, what does this child know? And that's the most important part. What do they know so that I can teach them the other parts? It really isn't about leveling your child and scaling them within the class of, oh, are they in the upper quartile? Or, oh, are they in the bottom 5%? It's useful for groupings, and a teacher can see many children that might be working at a similar level. They can be grouped together so that they can be taught simply just for the efficiency side of things. Now, you might want to work with that group to teach them about a certain aspect of a topic that they need extra help with. And simply because they all have a similar need or are working at a similar level, it can be useful to use that score data to be like, now I know this is the group that I need to teach more fractions to, or something like that. So in a sense, tests are important because it's what people look at as you go further up in school. And I know, of course, it is important to parents because it's probably the only part of the whole process of assessment that they truly understand. So if you have any questions about this, or you really want to get involved in the conversation, please do leave a comment on this. I'm really interested to see what you as a parent, or perhaps another teacher, maybe even as a pupil, want to say about this particular topic, this particular question. Aside from that, please make sure to check out our Twitter, our Instagram, and our TikTok. We have just set up our Facebook page as well, which is available for you guys to go and have a look at. All of our content is also posted on there. And most importantly, our book, Teacher Perspective, Teacher Truths for Parents and Pupils. It's what we're here for, it's what we want to do. We want to give as much information to parents as possible so that they can have a positive influence on their child's academic career. Have a look on Apple Books and also on Amazon Bookstore, where you can find the paperback version and the ebook version, if that's what you prefer. But until next time, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you later.